Just OBS takes a while. Hey YouTube, we're back. We got a few things to talk about, but overall we're just gonna keep it pretty chill. We got face cams. This might be the way we do podcasts in the future. It just I don't know, it depends. We'll see how this
Boo.
goes.
Boo this man.
Um
Oh, my computer's not gonna like this. And if it looks like my eyes are darting, it's because my second screen is set up over here. Like little cameras right there. I should readjust this, but I'm gonna look weird.
hmm.
I to start things off though, I do watch our series, right?
Yeah.
Because mostly it's for me. Like I love watching those videos. I mean, it's completely for me. I love them. Um, and I notice that when I'm not paying attention because I have the window minimized and I can't see me,
Mm-hmm.
you can see all of my stupid quirks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's biting his nails. He's scratching his head. He's just fucking doing weird things. And it's like,
I
I
pay
just swore.
attention because I watch it too a little bit because I the thing I look forward
I'm
to
like,
the most is
those
seeing what our
videos.
editor puts in and everything.
Yeah, but those videos are probably the more genuine me, maybe,
Mm.
because I'm not actually paying attention. I'm so focused on the game that whatever comes to mind while we're playing is what comes out. I find it hilarious because I'll look back and I'll watch those and go, I really said that?
Yeah.
Um, I actually have gotten to play at locals lately, though, so that's always fun. Um,
Yeah. Uh
Small locals in my area building. But you probably have the topics we're going to cover because you didn't actually send me a cheat sheet like you usually do.
no, I mean we talked about this a little bit the other day, but like drag up the card, the game capture to capture master duel. Bam. It's just gonna talk about some new selection packs, and then we'll talk about just Yu-Gi-Oh related stuff that's been going on with us, I guess, because I have some things to talk about, which kind of suck. Some of it's gonna suck, some of it's like whatever. But
How much domain have you been playing?
not a lot. I just got. I haven't done any domain and haven't really played hardly any Yu-Gi-Oh since I got home. But
Fair.
but we got the new Fire King support coming out, and we got the new uh, Sky Strikers, Valmonica, and Odd Eyes cards that are coming to Master Duel.
My
Oh.
next question is, did Konami actually announce that these are coming in?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, because I was about to say, I
I
really,
I don't
we're
look
not
at
going to be big enough to ever hit that point, but I don't like the data mining stuff or anything like that
yeah.
because I really don't want to get banned.
Uh, every time we've done one of these videos, I have made sure that they have officially announced anything.
Officially. I thought you were doing that in the background of things, but I kind of went down the rabbit hole of random YouTube videos while I'm working and stuff like that was popping up and I was kind of looking at the rules and all the policy stuff cuz I keep up with the policy for the most part
Mm.
and I went, "Oh, gosh, I hope that Michael has been
Literally,
paying attention to this cuz
I
getting banned from the one joy I have in this world would be awful."
literally every time we've done one of these, I've pulled up Master Duel itself on the notification
Okay.
thing. Because full transparency, I do hear about them, but I always try to ignore it because like it's like 50-50 whether they're like actually true. So, oh, like one of this was people thought the Centurion deck was coming, and that's why they banned the King Calamity. Well, I didn't freaking and people were data mine, quote unquote, said that they did it, but I was like, I don't believe them, and it didn't happen because it's not true, and people who data mined lied because they didn't actually data mine, they just went off an assumption when
They
Konami
just they
has
just
been
wanted
pretty
that.
Konami's been
They
pretty
wanted that.
like fast and consistent with when they release and announce stuff. So like,
Yeah. The ones that are data mining, a lot of them are just trying to get that clout. They're like, ah, I
yeah.
hacked Co Money. Now I'm going to get likes and people to watch my content stuff and say that I'm the best ever.
Mm. We also got a new structure deck that they announced and everything, and it's the Galaxy one. And maybe I'll just get the Galaxy deck and climb with that. Not that I think the deck's very good, but I want to just say I did it to one of our friends.
Is that how bad wares were that petty?
I'm very petty. Uh,
Yeah, I
I
guess I am too.
I haven't checked. I can't check the list until it comes out on the 6th, which is when both this and the new selection pack is coming. So that's
I guess that's why I climbed with Blue Eyes because I'm like, I want to climb with Blue Eyes so I can say that I'm a really good Blue Eyes player,
mm,
and not many people could argue with me on it. And my favorite part about that is when I was streaming the Rise with Blue Eyes decks, I faced so many people that wanted to play me because they were like, I'm the better Blue Eyes player. And I was just like, okay, bro, I'll open up a room, face me, and they would lose, and they'd be like, oh, I don't think I retained any of those people that didn't get follows or anything. They were just trying to be all like big and bad Blue Eyes
it's
players.
funny
And
because I was the one that built your Blue Eyes deck originally.
you built it for me because I am awful at deck building. Um,
I never
I was
played
like,
Blue
I
Eyes. I
tried.
just went, these are the best cards I think in this deck, and these are good level 8s, and we're gonna hit them so hard with Numeron Dragon and all that.
That's what sold me. And like, I'm just sitting here and like, I would always question some of your picks. And my favorite part about it, about questioning your picks, is like, you're going to run into it. You're going to want to do this. You're a Blue Eyes player. You're going to run into this situation. I do. And I go, all right, Michael was right. This is the best card in the game.
It's like a Tyrant Twin Dragon or whatever, the two-headed one. You looked at that card and went, why? And I was like, you'll want it. It'll randomly come up, especially in best of one, and you're gonna want it. And it came
It
up
did.
a lot when I watched your streams.
And I, I think I actually went to our group that we have for a lot of the local players we've played with over the years, and I went, this card right here is the true boss monster of Blue Eyes. Do not tell me Chaos Max is the best card because it's not.
Uh, I believe you said the Tyrant Twin Blue Eyes Twin Headed Dragon or whatever is the best Blue Eyes support card that no one plays. And someone did pop up and mention Chaos Max, and then I chimed in and said no, because the way you have to build a Chaos Max deck is very like dedicated to it, and it makes your deck a lot worse. So
Yeah, it's great, you know. All right, back to spoiling the cards. I guess I'll try and not derail us too much on that.
no, that's fine. We're just kind of breezing through Master Duel a little bit. Like there's the new Naturia solo mode. Uh,
Ooh, it's
mm,
actually one of my favorite older decks I really wanted to build because back in the day it was pretty close to being a control style deck because that's what it is.
it
And I really wanted to play control.
it's pretty good. I mean, like it's it's kind of annoying in like because I've done it already, but like it the actually using the Naturia deck, there were times when it was somewhat annoying, but I never really felt a threat because oh man, Naturia is really hard to lose against if they're playing a lot of the old cards, which Naturia solo mode when you play against the computer it does, but there was a few things I was really frustrated about that like man I could actually win if they just put in like this Naturia card and stuff like that. But we also
Yeah.
have the new, and I alluded to this earlier because we weren't it was in between it, but we in between episodes, but they announced when the new Forbidden Limited list for um Master Duel is. And people has probably already talked about it and everything, but I'm just gonna go over it. Cards that are banned, it's just Hot Red, Dragon, Archfiend, King Calamity. King Calamity is banned in Master Duel, and I think this is the only place it's banned in. I don't know if it's banned in OCG or not, but it's definitely not banned in TCG. So
It's kind of funny that they banned that because that card is kind of BS.
I'm
Like
glad it's not a fair
for
and fun
me,
card.
they make the calamities on my turn. I've been hyper fixated on Paleozoics. Check out my awesome replay. There's probably going to be a couple more because I've had a couple of good games, but it's just sometimes I've had them scoop up to me because they make the King Calamity, they do all their stuff, and I just go, cool, set 5, pass.
Yeah,
They invested everything into that Calamity thinking they were going to stop me, and I'm just like, set 5, pass.
hell yeah.
But it is a BS card. I've played against it with other decks, and it's kind of like, yeah,
It's
it's
really
not
funny
fair.
when you get people that don't understand uh King Calamity and how it works, and you get it to mistiming because it can.
Yeah, I've seen it mistiming.
Really funny. But cards that are limited is two cards that I think should have been hit over here in the TCG, which is Wanted, Seeker of Sinful Spoils, and Snake Eye Ash. I think these cards would be great hits and stuff like that. But
I feel like this is my opinion because I've played a lot against the deck. They hit the consistency of it, which is very OCG like. They love doing that in OCG, and it's stupid. Ban one of them because what that does, and it's my opinion, is it forces deck builders to build the deck differently because you still don't have that safety blanket. Because if they draw the card, either of the cards, they can effectively do the same thing they've been doing. And it doesn't really affect the deck as much as does. All it does is make the deck really, really unfun to play.
I don't know. I think
Because you're either going to draw hard and do really good, or you could brick
I think
really, really bad.
no. Well, okay. So normally, at least for this case, hitting Ash and Wanted are very good because it does hit the consistency of the deck in a good way. Because having Wanted at 1 means that you're not going to always have Diabell Star, even though you're going to be playing like 4 copies of it now and everything instead of like 3 or 6 or whatever that they were. Um, and Snake Eye Ash being hit is also important. It actually makes a well timed either Imperm or Ash Blossom feel like it does something rather than rather than just being like, oh, okay, well now you got me more fuel. And that's still gonna happen. I just think that these hits are a step in the right direction. Maybe they do need to ban something, but like
They do. They need to force people to play the deck differently.
maybe
That's
maybe ban the
after
maybe ban the princess.
like that card's an issue, and it's its own set of issues
Well,
in
if
the genericness of it. But the issue with the deck is either your opponent's going to draw and do the same thing they've been doing this whole time
mm,
and just hope to God you don't have that card, or the opponent's going to draw and just brick really hard, and that's just going to make the deck really, really bitter. And as Yu-Gi-Oh players, if we're not being forced to play a deck a different way
mm,
and make some variations to it to fix it, we're not going to. We're going to keep playing that deck stubbornly because it has that, and the deck itself is super powerful at resetting it and reestablishing presence and the grind game. So
part of that's
I
because of
think it
Wanted
still
though.
makes for, yeah, it still makes for a boring deck. I just think it makes it even more boring because some games you're just not gonna do anything.
Give us back
Whereas
full.
before,
Give us back full power tier laments. We'll knock that deck down so hard they won't even have to hit anything.
Tearlaments itself was kind of an exciting deck. I hated playing against it, but it's still a very exciting deck. And it's one of those stubborn decks, though, that they'd hit something, they go, okay, we're going to play it like this. They'd hit something, like, okay, we're going to play it like this. They'd hit something, they'd be like, okay, now we're going to play it like this. Like, it progressively, the deck changed to how it is, at least in OCG and Master Duel, it's basically stayed the same thing. You're just running cards that work with it. And you don't get the Ishizu millers. But like you look at the progression of how stubborn OCG with it, the deck was going through different, variations of it and actually changing overall doing the same thing, but changing so that it can get to that route and it wasn't such a, you know, oh, I lose, it
I'm a
I just
believer that while I understand tier limits needed to be hit. I'm a believer that the deck was better than Snake Eye format, and that's
it is. I will never disagree with you because tier format, it felt like I could still play another type of deck and do fine.
yeah.
It nothing felt like it was super out of my way to play cards for it. And yes, this format is like that too, but it felt like tier had an element of luck to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was super consistent, but it still had an element of luck. I fire off a hand trap and stop one play, that could stop them right there. Basically full power Snake Eye, it doesn't matter how many hand traps I fire off because they probably have the answer and they're just going to keep going with their extenders.
Well, like
Their deck is, strangely enough, their deck is a starter, extender, and finish. Their cards are all basically, except for like two of them, starters, extenders, and finishers.
one
There's
card.
no real sequence. It's just sequencing them correctly or drawing them correctly.
Well, one of the like biggest
Get that.
issues with Snake Eye is that literally one card starts their whole plays, whereas with
Yeah.
tier that didn't actually happen. Like if you really think about it, like most of the tier cards, um, outside of like getting lucky with Merly, like Rhino Heart technically did it, but like Merly, Sheeran, and Havness, all required luck. Sheeran required another monster specifically in your hand. Havness required your opponent to activate a monster effect on the field, and then Merly was just summon a mill 3, but like I don't know, I've whiffed pretty hard before with mills and you've seen it. So
Oh yeah. I played against that deck a lot. We did a lot of practicing and
mm,
through all that practicing though, and all that playing against that deck and trying to learn it, which I never did. Never learned what to do. I just thought I'm gonna throw something at something because the deck is fragile enough. If I stop one thing, maybe it works for me. And the choke points were very much a flow chart, and I wasn't gonna learn the flow chart, so I just went deafen math. Throw it at the thing I can't deal with. It worked. But even all of that playing we did,
mm,
normally I get tired of a lot of the decks that you play because we will, when we're prepping for an event, so we'll play and play and play. Dude, this is boring. This is stupid. Let's play something else, or you know, let's go play Trooper format or something.
let's go play Pokemon. Let's go do like anything else.
Yeah, let's speed run against each other in Pokemon or go and do this. With the tier one, I was almost kind of seeing there going, well, I can't wait to face him again.
I think before tier, the only time that you did that with the deck I had was Card Trooper, was the Troop Dupe Scoop deck, because that deck was like it was
Watching that deck evolve and you coming up with new ways to play it was actually some of that. Really, we should have just been live streaming that.
yeah.
The evolution of that deck, live streamed and or just recorded, would have been a great series.
we've talked about that a lot too. It's like, man, there's so many times like we just be having fun or whatever, talking and playing and just being idiots, and then you'd be like, "Why aren't we recording?" I'm like, "It's too late now. The magic's gone." Eh,
Like
but
it is, it goes away, and that's it's really we should just be recording every single freaking time we go to play a game or something,
mm,
because and it's like, and if we did that, it'd be so natural that we just be like, oh, the camera's on. But if we say something stupid, we can just throw it away.
yeah. Well, we'll continue
We
with the
did in the
bits.
beginning, it felt like.
We did, but the
Okay,
pro
continue with the band.
an excited an exciting semi limit is for you more than me, but both of us, because we both played this deck, is Sprite Jet is going from 1 to 2. Woo. So,
Elf is still not hit.
nope.
It's still not gone.
And you know what cards are coming back to 3 on here? Engage, which it's at 3 in the TCG. Woo. Uh, Performapal Monkey Board, the Adventure Token Maker, Rite of Aramis, and Blackwing Steam the Cloak. I think all of these kind of make sense. Sky Striker, as annoying as it is, um, it's not very good anymore. It just really can't compete as well with Snake Eye or with even Tearlament, and it's like really weak form. Uh, Monkey Board is Pendulum is so power crept, it's ridiculous. Um, Adventure got power crept pretty fast over here in TCG, and
It's funny because TCG itself,
mm,
with the power creeping of Adventure, a lot of people thought it should have been hit, and I'm pretty sure I said it should have been hit too. Or maybe that was the time when I really wasn't playing too much competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, so I didn't have to worry about it, and because that was like COVID, so um,
well,
no one got
Adventure
to play a lot of IRL
no,
Yu-Gi-Oh, did they?
well no, Adventure
And the
was
funny
right
part
before.
is,
Well, no, Adventure was literally the same year that Tearlament came out. It was the
oh,
same
okay, yeah.
because Tearlament
I
and
feel
Sprite
like it just
Tearlament and Sprite came out in
it got
August, whereas Adventure, like it was Adventure Dark Destroyer Scythe Piles from like January/February, uh, pretty much till August, and we like Branded got thrown in there along with Sword Soul, but other than that, it was literally like Adventure Piles and stuff like that. So, and
like,
yeah,
but I feel like Adventure didn't need to get hit. It was going to naturally get power crept,
yeah, no, it's
and it
funny.
did.
It got power crept so hard. Literally, the Adventure.
OCG was like, we got to hit this. We got to stop this. Our players are going to quit.
Mm,
TCG was like, they'll survive. They're going to be angry that we didn't do anything about it, but they're going to come back and say we were right the whole time.
dude,
And it's true.
if you played again,
They knew what we didn't.
have you played against Adventure with Sprite or well with Sprite since you played Sprite and you didn't really play Tier?
Um,
Dude, it's so
I've
easy. It's one of the easiest fights I've ever
I
had.
can walk them through. Yeah, I can walk them through their plays.
Same thing.
Um,
Same thing
So the
with.
funny part is on Master Duel, I played Adventure. I
Mm,
was playing Adventure or PK Fire Adventure,
yeah,
right? I was playing, all the stuff. I loved that deck, and I I only switched to that because I think Rongo got hit. So I was like, wow, I still have all this PK stuff. What am I gonna do? And then like I faced a Adventure deck, and I went, all right, we're switching to this, and I had so much fun with it. And then, of course, I tried playing that deck against Sprite, and I was just like, why am I not just playing Sprite? I'm a
yeah.
Sprite player.
It it's so easy. It's just same thing with like Tier. It was one of the easiest fights I think I've ever had.
Wait, you don't get to get an effect off of a normal summon? That means one of my interactions doesn't have to interact with the one thing that just about every deck needs to do at this point, which is normal summon.
Oh, what's that? You oh, you tried to negate something with your Griffin Rider? Cool. You just destroy negates and destroys. So guess what? I'm going to combo off oh look, you have like 3 negates. Tier limit can play through it. It's why people just stopped playing hand traps and other than like DD Crow and Bish Steals. It
I
like
watched you play through like 4 toad activations.
uh when I played,
I'm pretty sure you played through like 3 or 4 toad activations at
yeah,
one point, and that blew my mind because I'm sitting here going, I'm starting to get zoo flashbacks.
when I played at locals for the first time with tier limit, and I had branded tier, uh because this was like before the Ishizu cards and stuff like that. But I played branded tier, and uh I went up against a pendulum player, one of the things, and he literally went. He had 4 negates, and I just played through all of them. And he went, I don't know what the choke points in your deck is, and I went, well, certain hands you can stop the first thing, and my whole deck falls apart. But most hands, there is no choke point, so it's just it. Listen, I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. It's one of the only individual game I think I lost with tier that locals. I didn't lose a whole. I didn't lose a match, but I lost an individual game. Is it was the 5th piece of interaction that got me?
Our camera went black because I was
Mm,
vaping.
you know, yeah, it was the 5th piece of interaction that got me, and it was one I couldn't play around because I couldn't see, and it was Ash Blossom. But yeah, and I was like, okay, you got me there, and then I just beat them again in the next game. They're like, that was wild. I couldn't stop you, and I went, yeah, this deck is kind of bullshit.
Deck is great.
And man, do I
I
miss
probably
it.
would have enjoyed playing the deck at full power, but once again, I had Paleozoic Frog, and I
Mm,
was like, I have all this frog stuff. Um, might as well play the Sprite Frog deck.
yeah. Oh man, it just a lot of great things about that deck. It really did remind me. The more I played it, it really did remind me of Trooper. Because Card Trooper really felt like a
Yeah,
prototype to where, really felt like a prototype to Tier, because like people were like, "Oh, Lightsworn," I don't know. Lightsworn like back then, unless they got like a crazy hand, was only gonna mill about like 5 cards if they and everything, maybe a little bit more. Heart Trooper milled anywhere between would like burn through half of its deck. I mean, granted, like you'd mill like anywhere between 9 and 12 on average, and but you'd still
my
burn
favorite
through.
quote from you. Yeah, you can burn through your most of your deck. My favorite quote from you is me. Why Dante? You. Sometimes you have to mill 12 cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat there and I went, that means you would have resolved a card trooper, 3 of them, and then you made Dante because you needed to go further. I'm like, is Snow not in there yet? Because I'm pretty sure Snow just wins you the game. Like, and you were so on this Snow thing, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even funny. Like, I remember you were collecting a bunch of Snow, like Fairy Tale Snow.
Yep.
And the card just came out and you're collecting it, like it's a good card. I love it in my spellbook deck. I can banish things, I can do this. And everyone's like, I don't know about this card. And I'm sitting there looking at this card and I'm just like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, if you had a way to send a lot of cards from your deck to the graveyard, this card's gonna be really, really good. And I don't know how many of that card you ended up with, but boy,
I still find
when
them.
grass came out and people did mill decks and
uh,
stuff.
there's been a few times where I'm like, man, I just love these things, and people go, why? And then like a month or a couple months later happens by, and they go, oh, just and
It is a Book of Moon that's not once per chain. That once per chain for its era and even today makes it so impressive.
Like
It's so
kaijus.
oppressive.
I was so on kaijus
You were on kaijus
so
so
much further
fast.
than everyone else because I was like, because I used them.
We were playing the same deck,
Yep.
except for you had kaijus. I'm like, cool. If I knew these cards existed, I probably should have done the same thing.
It's funny you flipped skill drain on me, and I went, huh. And then I was like,
Huh.
I still got like these big dumb idiots that you can't deal with. So
I know I did at the start of the tournament that locals, and everyone just looked at me like I was some kind of madman. I just flipped skill drain, and I just kind of down the way I can feel and or sense the oh moment from you, like, oh, I'm not playing that, but I could be.
it was very much I should be playing that type of card.
I was against the Yosinju player, and he's just like, I'm doing so good. I'm Yosinju. He's in phase. I'm going to, and I'm just like, skill drain. You're not doing anything, Yosinju boy. They're staying there. You're gonna sit here and play Yu-Gi-Oh with me.
It was great. I that deck. What was funny about the that Gradle deck, the Gradle Kaiju deck that I had, is that sometimes you'd be like, oh, the deck needed skill drain. Well, the deck likes skill drain, but sometimes I just won with turtle control.
I've lost to turtle control. Actually, Master Duel has a turtle control deck that I encounter a lot now, and it's so frustrating to have so much interaction to stop it because they just load up that field spell and then just cheat a turtle onto their side. And I'm just sitting here going, uh-huh. And I'm facing down Godzilla, and Godzilla just says no.
That was the real reason I like Kaijus, by the way, is that they were all like Godzilla and stuff like that. But then I noticed how good they were because it just outed anything. So I was like, oh, here.
Here, have a lava golem,
Oh,
but
look
it
at.
only tributes one thing.
And you don't. And it doesn't need to eat up your normal summon. Jared is playing Cosmos. Oh, look at my Dark Destroyer. Have a Kaiju.
Doesn't destroy it, you don't get an effect. Doesn't target, you don't get an effect.
Oh man, this guy named Ricky that used to come to our locals. I felt so bad because I'm pretty sure I'm one of the reasons he stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, because a long time ago, back like around Shadow and Teller Knights and everything, around that time, he was playing Noble Knights. While I was playing Spirit, Trap Tricks, Control. So Noble Knights at the time, if you don't know, our dear audience, what Noble Knights were known for back then was summoning one big bungus idiot and making it like immune from targeting and couldn't be destroyed by a battle or card effect once and stuff like that, and was supposed to be really annoying. But it only had like one monster out at a time, and it was just a bunch of this idiot, like big dumb idiot. Well, my spirit deck played creature swap because I give them a spirit, the spirit comes back to my hand, I keep their monster permanently. And
Mine, I brought it from home.
mm-hmm, and it completely shut him down. I also decided Ghost Trick Jack Frost because spirits come back to the hand. I need battle faders and stuff like that, which also doesn't target, and Book of Moon's the monster, so they can't re-equip. So he leaves. He stops playing for a while, especially after Necroz because he wanted to play that deck and didn't get to because by the time he built it, it got hit. I don't blame
The
him. That
thing is he had it fully built and he wasn't playing it.
well, he also was. I think he was working a lot then too.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Jared played his deck once or something like that, and he just said he's like, oh, he's just been busy with work and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he comes back and he's playing Noble Knights after Necroz got absolutely gutted. And I'm playing Gradle Kaiju. So he does his Noble Knight thing and I go Kaiju. And he looks it, he reads it, and he's like, this is Lava Golem, but it doesn't eat your normal summon, it only requires one. And I went, yeah. And he goes, why does every deck you make mess with my monsters? This is bullshit. And then I took it. And then I took my Kaiju back and he was like, all your decks, it just gets rid of the monster in like the weirdest way, and then it just takes them, and I'm like, yeah.
That sounds about right, though. For
Mm.
your deck building skills are always more impressive than mine. Mine, I just look at like a deck list and I'll build it. And I think the only deck I ever built that still, I don't know how I came up with it other than a fever dream, was that stupid relinquish deck.
That deck is so funny. The deck was like, I
I'm going
hated
to build.
I hated facing it, but my god, was it it was so funny and so good to use.
It was one of those moments where I remember because it was you, me, and Josh,
Mm.
and I went, I want to build a neckbeard deck. And they were like, I think you guys like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, relinquished. So I did the usual Stefan thing, which is I'm gonna look at YouTube videos on it. I start watching YouTube videos, and these are really fresh ones. These guys are like, they have a lot of views from fellow, anime deck enthusiasts, like people that like that kind of stuff. And I went, this is stupid. And I went, we're not doing that. So I'm just like, and mind breakingly enough, they were not playing the ritual spell for relinquished. How do you play this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have this card that straight up says, add one ritual monster to your hand and the ritual spell that you use to summon it, and not play a card that straight up says, I am a +1 in card economy. I have to be answered.
I will never
The
get
card was not expensive.
I
And
know,
like, so
yeah.
I built this deck, and all you told me the deck was like, you just basically put every good card into a thing, and then now you're playing relinquished and Thousand Eye Restrict with it, and the Millennium stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's how powerful this format is.
I loved it
Basically, did the same thing with the Toon deck.
cause I the Toon deck was Troop Dupe Scoop, but with a Toon engine is what it ended up being. But
Yeah,
I still loved it. Like our buddy Jordan was playing True Draco, and I was throwing all kinds of decks at him and play testing meta and just getting him ready and everything like that. And then I got bored and I said, "Hey, can I just play for fun deck versus you? Because I'm getting bored." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And we were practicing online, and I used Stefan's Relinquish deck, and it made him so mad, and he got so tilted. And literally later on, Stefan brought up that he built the Relinquish deck, and Jordan just was out missing a beat. Fuck that deck.
my favorite part about that though is you were running version 1, so I'm pretty sure that version still ran like
It ran.
MSTs instead of like twin twisters. It ran Sphere Karibo. And my favorite part about them is why MST? I'm like, I don't know. I want to MST my own card and take something else. And it worked. The general idea of the deck was, I don't know how to win. Tell me how to win.
It was so funny.
I'm playing your deck.
The testing against him was always kind of funny though, because I've tested against him a few times with like in different formats. One of which was when Dark Synchro was like a deck, and he was like, "Fuck this deck, dude! What the fuck?" At everything because I won the coin toss and I just hand looped him, and he goes, and then all my stuff comes back and I OTK him. Uh, second, what's it called? Second freaking game goes second. He goes first. He sets up a board. I go through the combo lines. I break his board and then OTK him. And he's like, what the fuck this deck and everything. And I was like, see, I told you. I told our locals group you can play this on the online simulators
I
without timing
remember
out.
that because everyone's like, I don't think you could play that. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you can.
I can.
You said, I'm pretty sure you can. And I was just sitting there like, and I don't think I had a hat in that, or like I didn't really have an opinion in that because I wasn't really,
My my
I think
action.
I was still playing.
Yeah, my response to it literally was, I absolutely can. I played Quasar decks on there. I played the original hand loop deck on there. Do you not understand how many steps that one went through? That one was way harder.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're just gonna time out. It's like you're not if you just play fast.
You got to know what you're doing. I knew what I was doing. It was like the problem. So the reason why a lot of people think that you would time out is because streamers time out all the time. But streamers time out all the time because they get caught up talking to chat. So
I do it. I mean, I haven't really timed out, but when I stream, I do see that like. But I guess usually when I'm streaming, I'm playing a deck I know so well that I can be like staring like this and still paying it, like kind of paying attention to my chat and chatting with people as I go and still doing the plays. I can even stop what I'm doing in the middle of it and go, yeah, 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 and like, oh, that's going on. But
mm,
a lot of the streamers back then though weren't very good at that
they
multi-purpose.
still
They were
aren't.
too focused on the chat.
They still
A lot of
aren't.
them do
Like
the timing
like
down. Yeah.
uh like I still like for a while until like I think I streamed like I don't know if I streamed or whatever, but I don't remember what. I think someone came in and talked to me, and I talked to them for a little bit, and then continued with the what I was doing. But I noticed how like fast my clock went down, and I went. This is probably why streamers, almost all of them, always end up with like 10 seconds left on the clock. Because I was like, I never until like someone came in and talked to me. I think it was my mom came in and talked to me and all that. Was like I was like, how do they even get that low? Because I never hit the 60-second mark even. And then I played Snake Eyes, and then that deck has so many combo lines and all and stuff like that that I ended up getting close to the 60-second mark just playing the deck and playing through the interactions. So
I
it
had an opponent time out on me,
yeah,
and they
it's
were playing fast. It did not seem like they were eating time at all, and like everything was moving so fast and smoothly. But
mm,
I was just quickly going, no, I won't respond to that. Nope, I won't respond to that. And um, what I do is I set my mode to active on their turn and even mine once
mm-hmm.
the game starts, basically. And those few seconds that people lose if they're not like me and just actively doing, making sure that I'm passing priority, it eats on them
Oh,
because I respond and it forces them like, oh, do you have a response? And they won't quickly enough do that. And it really eats down their clock.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I play in active mode, which I shouldn't be because it kind of shows that I have interaction. But I'm playing a deck where almost all of my cards can be activated at any time. So it doesn't matter if they know that I have something because I just set 5 back row. Of course I have something.
Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but something that kind of sucks, at least for me, because I had to I don't know where it's at. Is so well I was gone house sitting for the audience. I was gone house sitting for like a week and a half, and came home and my mom cleaned my room completely, which is because uh I'm gonna have to start sharing a room. That's fine and everything, but what's not fine is she lost my pink binder, and that had a lot of magic cards in it that are actually worth money. And then I had like,
Ugh.
and then and everything, and I was sitting there like, why didn't you just put it with the blue binder and everything? Because like you put the blue binder on a shelf in the in my closet. You could have just done that and everything. And she's like, I don't know, everything. She's like, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember where I put it. And I was like, well, okay, good. Now I don't know where my for magic card. It had mainly expensive magic cards, so I had like Shocklands and like modern staples,
Mm.
a few modern staples. But it also had, I'm pretty sure it had my Rhino hearts, my tier limit Rhino hearts in it because I put them in that binder because one of our friends Martin from locals wanted to borrow them for an event, and then he never showed up. So, and I went, okay. But I found one, and I know that I had that one, and I took it out specifically because I played it in a domain deck, and then the other two I were in the pink binder still. So I got like one Rhino Heart, but like can't play tier limit with one. But Rhino Heart's like cheap, so that kind of sucks. But like, yeah, it is
I
nice.
can keep my eye peeled. I keep my eye peeled for more Rhino hearts. I have enough trades that people want. I mean,
But
I went to locals and I did the stupid thing that I shouldn't do because it makes people obsessed with it. I pulled out the ultimate rare binder, you know,
mm,
and people just there's a lot of vintage alties in here. How long have you played this game? I don't know, 2002 maybe. I don't know, when did this game come out?
but if
And
people want to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a good time to do it. You can get all the staples and stuff like that real cheap. I picked up some of the cards I was
buy all the
missing.
staples you can.
I picked up some of the staples and hand traps and stuff I was missing, like DD Crows and stuff, and access code and IP, and uh, Underworld, Goddess of the Closed World, and the the Moonlit and everything like that. I picked up like 20 some plus cards and like crossout designator and like all the like good staples and stuff that I was missing for like $20. It was like over 20 cards for $20. Because a rarity collection, my hot take, I know people were bashing on this one compared to the last one, but my hot take is this one is still really, really good. Especially if you don't care about rarity.
New players, it is a really good set. And this is an experience I had with this. That the locals I started going to has a couple of newer players and stuff, or people that don't keep up with the game, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just going crazy over buying them and having them because it gave them these staples. It gave a good foot for people to come in and play and get these cards. And um, so like, and you got me. I'm basically a bum.
Mm.
Like when I play Yu-Gi-Oh, I just borrow what I need because I know someone in our group probably has what I need. Like, and I'm always playing some weird stuff that I don't have to worry about it. Be like, I need this really oddly specific weird card, and someone will go, I have 4 of them. Okay. And like that's also another good thing is if you're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh, like go to tournaments and have a lot of fun at like regionals and stuff, build a good acquaintance group of Yu-Gi-Oh players. You don't have to always interact with those people because you can have long distance relationships with people that you've known from playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and you know you both are going to show up to that event and you all can be in the same Facebook chat or even group or even
Yep.
Discord, and you can borrow cards from each other and make each other better at the game by just having that access to everybody. You
Yeah.
know,
Uh,
can have a group of people put together the top deck.
and then, if you have social anxiety, you have a hard time making connections or even talking to people, I understand and everything. So not like you might not have that ability to like make those connections very easily, but like playing at locals or trying to play at locals, and I know not everyone has a locals really because not everyone has a LGS near them that's not like a 3 hour drive away or something. Because I've heard like in the Midwest and like all that, and like there's lots of places that just don't got them, and that kind of sucks. But like playing online, rarity collections are your best friend, and don't let I know people were like, oh, high rarity. Get the low rarity stuff. Be me. I'm a common hunter. I actually prefer lower rarity cards. Even if I have the high rarity cards, I will sometimes just play the low rarity cards anyway, especially because of how I like to
Uh,
shuffle. And it really,
Yeah,
oh
I like
man.
I know that if I pick up a common version of a card,
Mm,
that I can next time I meet up with you or something, go, do you want this version of that card? And you'll be like, yeah, here, take the higher rarity one, and and then we'll just be like, all right,
we'll make up the
it's
difference later somehow.
yeah, we always make up the difference. Like honestly, if I added up the math at how much I owe everybody or anyone owes me in our play groups and stuff,
See,
it'd be stupid.
normal people when they shuffle, they and everything in Yu-Gi-Oh, they do something like this with their cards, right? I riffle shuffle, so again, just like that and everything, and you should have seen when I was at the top players playing Tenpai, at the top tables playing Tenpai, the look on all my opponent's face when they noticed that that's how I was shuffling. So good because they were like,
It just, you can always just be like me and just shuffle your hand as you're doing things.
You know what's funny
Which
is
is funny because that's a trick I learned playing Magic, by the way.
yeah. I was gonna say what's funny about the shuffling hand thing is I didn't start doing that until I started playing Magic too. Because honestly, if you're not flicking your hand as fast as Stefan does, and everything and all that, and if you're actually just sitting there shuffling your hand a little bit, sometimes that actually helps you see more plays or other plays. At least in Magic, it
That's what
did.
I got taught by Magic players. In Magic, that's what I got taught. Like the person that really showed me how to play Magic. He was like, he didn't flick his hand as much, but he looked at me and he was like, rearrange your hand, Stefan. I'm like, what? And he was like, if you just rearrange your hand, sometimes you'll see a play that you didn't see before. Or how I draw a card is I'll set it down, go to pick it up. I'll make a very dramatic movement to kind of set it right there on the field so that when I pick it up, I have to actually have the whole entire field in my vision
Hmm.
to look at the card too to see how it interacts with the board. So those flashy movements that I'll do sometimes are because if you have ADHD, you got to do something. And the
Yeah.
easiest way to do that is to do tricks like that so that you're forced to look at things when you don't want to. And like my hand flicking, the funny part is I know Yu-Gi-Oh so well that I can sit there and flick my hand and watch the cards because I know what's in my hand. And I go, oh wait, that's how I can do that. And you know, yeah,
Yeah.
I know my hand flicking is way faster than it should be, but
I'm pretty
I
sure
almost
they
have
got that
a
from.
gif of it.
I'm pretty sure like high level Magic players got that from playing like poker. I bet because like
Yeah,
the few
in
times,
poker, you just sit there and you play with
yeah,
your cards.
yeah, cause the few times I've ever played like I played like 5 card draw for poker and stuff like that is that like I'll shuffle my cards and because I shuffle my cards in my hand, I'll see oh I actually have um like a small straight or I have a straight or something like that and I just didn't see it for whatever reason before um or like sometimes instead of flicking my cards around like that for when I played like a little bit of like 5 card draw, Texas Hold'em or blackjack or anything, I would purposely rearrange the cards in certain orders and everything, like lowest to highest or putting pairs next to
Yeah,
each
because you can
other
grab it.
and everything, so I could actually see what I had and everything. But yeah, but Magic's taught me a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh. Honestly, playing Magic made me a better
Um,
Yu-Gi-Oh player. We talked about this
it's
off.
true for me too.
We talked about this off camera yesterday, actually. But yeah, it we both played Magic for a while, and it honestly made us better Yu-Gi-Oh players. Uh, and
Made
I've
me
also
appreciate Yu-Gi-Oh way more.
yeah, I played the Pokemon TCG a little bit too. Like
I've played a little bit of that.
I I played it like as recently as Saturday. It was with
Um,
structure decks and everything, but I played it Saturday.
AJ, AJ is so good at Yu-Gi-Oh because one, he practices his deck when he has free time and figures things out, and two, he's played just about every card game there is.
Mm.
He just through the years of playing, being a nerd, he played just about every freaking card game. So he got really good at just deck building and stuff and coming up with combos because he played all those games.
I'm kind of
Another trick I do when I flick my hand is sometimes I'll have cards upside down. It used to annoy a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players. Um, that was another trick that I learned playing Magic because once again the person that really showed me how to play Magic. He's like, you're playing, he's all, I know you have that card in your hand, why are you playing that? And I'm like, and he was all, a good trick. He's all, until you correct your hand with correcting your hand, when you draw your card for turn, if your opponent knows what's in your hand, just turn your hand upside down in your hand, have that one in there, kind of look at what you can do. He's all, then correct it after you figured out what they know and play the cards that they know until you keep that one a secret. And I was like, oh. I started doing that in Yu-Gi-Oh, and it kind of pissed people off. It's like that's just so stupid. Until
Yeah,
someone watched me do it, and like, I get why you do that now. You know what the new card in your hand is and what your situation is. I'm like, yeah,
yeah, it,
small tricks.
man. Uh, I learned, I learned how to play the basics of the Pokemon TCG, and let me tell you, the more Pokemon is fun. I understand why a lot of people really like it because it is fun. Every time I play another card game, I really appreciate Yu-Gi-Oh more because like to me, I really like how fast Yu-Gi-Oh is, and I like current Yu-Gi-Oh. And I know that like a lot of people, oh, old Yu-Gi-Oh was better, but our friend that Stefan mentioned, AJ, who's played tons of card games, I remember I said I prefer newer Yu-Gi-Oh to older Yu-Gi-Oh, and I remember he even said, "Yeah, I agree," because older Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of boring.
Yeah,
Older
he played a lot of older Yu-Gi-Oh.
older Yu-Gi-Oh is worse Magic the Gathering, and I stand by
It
that.
is.
And I will
I've
stand by
played through
that
all
till
the
the end.
formats. I know.
I'll stand by that till the end of time. Until the Synchro era, it is worse Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
And even after the
I mean the
Synchro
game.
era, it became like closer to more modern Magic, where they start getting like companions, which is their version of extra deck, pretty much, and it broke their freaking thing, and they had to literally like
They had
change
to
the
add the
rules.
cost to those cards, didn't they?
They had to add an extra cost, and it went from instead of playing it from their side deck into right into play, it just went to their hand for paying 3, and then you had to replay it later. So it and that made most of them like not even playable, but it made like 2 still very playable. So like both of which got banned still. But it's just so funny to me that I've explained to Magic players, you guys got companions and it broke your guys' game. We've had companions since 2010.
Yeah, we've had them forever, and they didn't. They just made our game way better. Synchro era is a very fun era, and it expands a lot of really. If you can't find a format that you like in Synchro era of Yu-Gi-Oh, you hate Yu-Gi-Oh.
I prefer the Xyz era. I
And yeah,
prefer
I guess that makes sense. But if you can't find an era where you can sit down with a play group and play that era of Yu-Gi-Oh with them in Synchro, I think you hate Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm trying to think if there's one format in particular in Synchro that I really like because I got not one of them is really standing out to me.
Yeah, but I'll still say that because like my opinion on the matter is there's so much diversity that goes through the eras of Yu-Gi-Oh and Synchro era that even if you don't have any particular like or hate of it, you can still sit down with your friends like, let's just play with Synchro monsters. And I'm sure most of them will be like, okay, I could throw together a silly deck for that. Or, do I have to play Synchros? Like, no, you could play anything that came out around that time. Let's just not play with pendulums, exceeds, or links. Um,
My biggest hot
and just
take, maybe, is that I think peak Yu-Gi-Oh is from 2014 till 2016. I think that is peak Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that is the time Yu-Gi-Oh was actually at its like greatest. But maybe it's
it's probably the time I fondly remember.
because 2014 is starts at Firewater format and then go to 2016 it goes up till Zoo. The only links are were more hurtful to the game than pendulums ever were. I know people, oh, pendulums ruined the game. They're like people that don't really play anymore and haven't since like a long time, right? Pendulums are awful, blah blah blah. Pendulums didn't do anything. Like pendulums,
Maybe 3 or 4 decks were good through Pendulum era that used pendulums,
there was literally like metal foes.
and they had to break the game for some of them.
Yeah, it was like literally metal foe, and then what's it called, and like Pepe, and Pepe was just like a better rank 4 deck at the end of the day. really, and they just used
Yeah.
pendulums, and that was it. So like later on, we got like pendulum magicians, and after the Link era, and that was a really good deck. But other than that, like it. Oh, we got Draco Pal as well, but that was like kind of like the reworked workshop of Pepe, pretty much. But like
Yeah.
the deck pendulums weren't that bad. Links really sped up the game because there was a lot of
Link saved Yu-Gi-Oh.
Link saved Yu-Gi-Oh. Huh?
Yeah. I think it made the game a little more interesting. It added a complicated factor to it.
I
Now,
I will
after
say
they
it
said
is
that we don't have to summon things to a zone that they point to anymore from the extra deck,
mm,
and all that other stuff, this is peak right now is peak Yu-Gi-Oh for me, where you can just play Links alongside all that busted stuff. But even Link era itself was really fun because the decks were definitely a lot of them that you got to play during the era were pretty fun. But I think Link's added another layer to Yu-Gi-Oh that was needed. They just didn't need to do what they did when we had the Link era, which was, yeah, no, you can't play synchros. You have to play them extra monster zone or point to a zone.
yep.
That is the only terrible part that I have about Links. Once we got rid of that, saved Yu-Gi-Oh, made Yu-Gi-Oh great.
It
Because
definitely
I can
sped
easily
Yu-Gi-Oh up.
explain to a person. I can easily explain to a person how link summoning works.
hmm It sped it up real like fast though, because like synchros, people are like, oh, synchros sped up the game. Speak a little bit. Equities, kinda. Pendulums, pendulums. The game did get faster, but like it wasn't pendulums that were doing it. Links, however,
Card quality got better.
well,
Links made it where decks that weren't viable just became ridiculous.
like the ones that could
I
throw
mean,
out monsters for free just for the sake of it, right? Those ones became relevant. But like there were decks that just couldn't throw out as many monsters that were okay. Like Badalche, I know our friend and everything complained about. It's why he hates Yu-Gi-Oh now is because of Links. Because early Link era killed Madolche because they couldn't throw out that many monsters. They could throw out like 3 at most. So like you couldn't really make Tiramisu would have been just the end thing, and it stopped you from doing like the easy OTK. That was like one, and then like Harpies kind of weren't as good. Uh, I remember people said ABC was dead because of the link, and then I played you with it, and I went, no, this is way better. I'm gonna show you because I just linked them off for Decode
Paleozoic
Conquer.
Frog. Paleozoic Frog. 10 out of 10.
Dude, I played it with just the XE stuff and everything, and I was like, this sucks so bad and everything compared to like playing it with the links and everything for like the first XE's festival. I was like, man, this is awful.
Yeah, Paleozoic Frogs was pretty fun with links and everything. Like that was like people like it destroys so many decks. I'm like, did not destroy Paleozoic Frog though.
Because Run just free material.
Run Runtone is busted. And I came up with some lore for Runtone that I thought of the other night or last night while I was watching a YouTube video.
Mm,
You know why Runtone banishes another frog in the graveyard to special summon himself?
huh.
Because it's his master, right? And his master gets killed, and now
Yeah.
he's no longer with them anymore. So now he's standing on the field as a Ronin, and he's like, "Bro, I'm just out here fighting the world because I'm an illegal samurai now."
Mm,
Or he's cutting them and then like going,
yeah. Well,
the headcanon.
that's a interesting headcanon. I think we've rambled on long enough. Uh,
Probably.
like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you enjoy the podcast and all the other stuff we do here. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.